Welcome to I Plan for Marriage, the podcast, a space where love meets preparation. I'm Martha Brown, a marriage planner and chaplain.
And I'm Vivian Vi Baldwin of Designs by Lady Vi, Martha's co-host. I'm a wedding planner and designer and educator. Together, we'll guide you through the two most important journeys, building a strong foundation for your marriage and navigating the ins and outs of wedding planning.
We'll share the conversations you should have before saying I do and the details that matter when planning the celebration of your love.
Whether you're engaged, newlywed, or dreaming about your big day, we're here to give you the insight, encouragement, and a touch of inspiration. Let's get started.
Hi, my name is Martha Brown.
And I'm Vivian Vi Baldwin. And today we have our special guest, dietitian and nutritionist, Millicent Simmons, the founder and executive director of Nutrition Matters, who's going to help us dive into specifically why nutrition matters in relationships and the importance of having that discussion before you say I do.
So, Millicent, please take a moment and tell the I Plan for Marriage, the podcast community a little bit more about yourself.
I'm a licensed, registered dietitian, been in the field of nutrition for 40 plus years, been married for 40 plus years. I love nutrition, and I love marriage. I love my husband, Reginald Simmons. He's my best friend. And why I went into nutrition is that I just love nutrition. It's just part of my lifestyle. And marriage and nutrition plays a great part in life. It is very, very important. I stress to people all the time, eat your meals, eat healthy, wash yourself. As you eat, wash yourself in whatever you do, and be healthy. I just love it. I love talking about marriage. I love talking about nutrition. And why do you plan it? You need nutrition in your marriage. You really need nutrition in your marriage, and it plays a great role.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you here today. So, Millicent, we're big on empowering couples to communicate with each other, right? So with that, why should couples talk about nutrition, and what is nutrition?
Okay, I feel that they should talk about it every day. It plays a part in your lifestyle every day. The reason why you need to talk, you need to know where the other party thinks. If you don't talk about it, they may be having a problem with diabetes and had not told you nothing about it because they feel like you do not want to hear what they had to say. So by talking about it, it helps both parties to get involved. And as they get involved, it helps them to know what each other is thinking. You may be the one that has to prepare the meals or pick up the meal for me when I can't do what I need to do. So it's very important that you communicate. And nutrition to me, it's about you are consuming the food, you're utilizing the food, and you're digesting the food for your nutrients so that your body can be healthy and your body can maintain the lifestyle that you want to live. So you want to try in every way to not get so heavy involved with eating too much or eating too less. You want the right amount. So you want to deal with a lot of nutrient-dense food.
So what I heard you say is that couples should have this conversation because it plays a role in their relationship and having energy to engage in the things that maybe a couple wants to do is going to be contingent upon the food that they eat.
Yes. Very important. If you don't eat healthy, if you don't have the nutrient-dense food to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you're not going to have the energy. Say, for example, you want to do some things that maybe you don't have the energy to do. You have promised your spouse that I would do it. But by the time it got time to do it, you say, oh, well, I don't care. You can't do nothing but hit the bed tonight. But in hitting the bed, your next part is ready to do the activity that you had planned to do. So if you had ate healthy, it maintained, and it goes a long way. Eating healthy. That's why I stress all the time. Breakfast is very important. It's hard for anybody, anywhere to be able to function, even for us today, in a healthy way. If we didn't have our breakfast, we wouldn't have the energy to do what we need to do. The necessary nutrients is very important. We need the minerals, we need the vitamins, we need the protein, we need the carbohydrate. We need all of those to maintain. So even in a married life, when you got two parties involved, having the nutrients, dense food, having the nutrients in your body to maintain good health is very, very important.
Okay, so you said dense foods. Could you say a little bit more about what you mean by dense food?
When I say nutrient food, I'm not saying a lot of fast food that you fill up with for a period of time and then right back in about 30 minutes you're hungry again. I'm saying the foods that have the nutrients, the vitamins in it, they have the carbohydrates, the protein, the fiber in them as you plan your meal. And when you planning your meals as a couple, it really makes a difference. When your husband or your spouse get up from the table, oh, that's such a nice meal. I enjoy it. Oh, I'm so glad I married you.
Oh, me. So with that said, actually, life, of course, isn't always peaches and cream. And there's also stress that occurs within and around relationships. How can what you eat affect how you deal with stress?
Well, stress is something that we have to look at every day because stress can involve a lot of areas, such as anxiety. Stress can lead into carbohydrates overdraw. It can lead into hypertension. It can lead into diabetes. It can lead into so many things, cardiovascular disease, cancer. All those diseases are brought about by stress. So what we need to do as far as our stress level, we need to make sure that we are eating healthy meals, so that balanced meals, so that it make a difference in the stress level. When I say stress food, I'm talking about foods that's high in carbohydrate, a lot of caffeine. Oh man, that put a lot of stress on the individual. Also, some of your dairy products is involved with stress. Your high sugar foods involved with stress. So you're eating those kind of meals, it really gonna cause some stress. So if you know that you are married and you know you're trying to do the best by each other, then you try to do a meal plan that's gonna be enjoyable for your spouse and enjoy for you. And you're going to enjoy life together.
So would that involve like meal prepping? Because I imagine that many people, the reason why they go through fast food drive-throughs is because of not only the convenience of it all. So how would you suggest a couple or an individual who's dealing with stress, how would you suggest that they get out of that habit of getting convenient food?
Convenient food is right there for the individual. And since it's right there, people have got so used to being right there. But sometimes we may have to go a little out of the way to make sure that we get what we need. And preparing that meal at home is the best thing that you can do. At home, you know what you put in your food. You know where you went and what you did to make this meal and put it on the table. Since you know what's there, as fast food, you don't know what's in the fast food. You don't know how many times they have reheated the same oil in your French fries. You just don't know because you're not there. But in your kitchen, you know. So we can get back to the basic plan of preparing our meals at home. It will make a difference. But if you don't have the time, I tell my clients all the time, if you just have to eat the fast food, that's fine. But let's don't make it a habit of every day. Let's prepare some meals. If we're off on Saturday, let's use that Saturday, maybe 2 hours, for preparation. And as we do some preparation for our meal plan, we're ready for Monday. We got it labeled for Tuesday. We got it labeled for Wednesday. We got our meals right there for it. We don't have to do the fast foods because the food that we want is right there in our car with us. We don't have to worry about the time involved to get there and get to the restaurant to get the meal. We got it with us. And you know you're doing a healthy meal.
Okay.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you shared with us, of course, some things to stay away from that impacts your stress levels, such as the sugar and the coffee and so forth. What, like 2 or 3 items of food that actually help alleviate stress?
Help alleviate stress is your fruits and your vegetables. And one thing about your fruits and your vegetables, you can have 2 to 3 servings of those a day. Now, if you have 2 to 3 servings of carb, what it does for you, you're going to not want not only just 2 to 3 servings, you won't want more. It's just like when you go through a buffet line, you see the plate piled high. Some of them is medium, some of them is high. Some of them, I'm looking at Facebook, some of them having to tell the people you have to leave the restaurant. Because just because it's fast food don't mean you can pack and eat all over. And the man said, I paid for my food. I can eat what I want to eat. But no, it don't run like that. But if you can just decide that you're not going to pack up and just eat so much, let that become a habit for you. Give yourself time to eat. Give yourself time to just enjoy your meal. You feel good about yourself. And when you feel the meal, you don't have to eat as much later on because these are stress foods and stuff that you kind of eat called processed food or stress food. And you are finding yourself eating a lot of processed food for convenience. But it's inconvenient. If you try to do a more healthy meal. That's the best convenient for you, a healthy meal. It helps you with your lifestyle. It helps you with all these other illness that's going around in anything. Suppose you get a spouse that tell you, I don't tell you I got diabetes, and he is a diabetic. And he's a diabetic, he didn't let you know that his meal plan called for so many different stuff. And you didn't know that. So had you known that, you can prepare it through your spouse. And it's good to talk it out. I plan for marriage.
So in recent years, couples during the planning of their wedding have become more attuned with their guests' dietary needs by asking as their guests give RSVPs to list any dietary restrictions that they may have. With an increase in vegan and vegetarian and no pork requests outside of your more typical allergy requests such as peanuts or seafood, I also recall reading an article that expressed that more than 1/3 of couples said that deciding dinner plans of what they were to eat was their most frequent argument. So with that said, Ms. Millicent, with selecting meals as a couple, right, what would be a great mindful approach that appeases both taste buds as well as the healthy approach as a lifestyle choice?
I like what you're saying. I've heard all the time, no beef, no pork, no vegetarian. But if the other party need to be involved with that too. So once you're eating your meals, which a lot of people don't have the time to sit down and eat their meals now. So you may be on your side eating, he may be on his side eating. Whatever you're doing with your eating, it's good to let each other know. So I asked the question, what am I going to have for supper? I want to know. The wife or the spouse may say, I want to fix you a meal that you're going to enjoy, that you're ready for when you come home. Had you not been ready for the meal, you may want to stop by a fast food restaurant. But through the discussion, my wife is preparing a meal for me, and I want to have that meal prepared for her when that spouse get home. So since you want that meal, then talking it out really makes a big, big difference.
It's kind of that excitement.
Right.
You're
it's
coming
exciting.
home to what you enjoy and what you want.
And what you know you have discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get a change in the plan, it's even also good to let the other party know that there's been a change in the plan. I couldn't find this in the grocery store, but I'm going to substitute this for you.
So then they won't be disappointed expecting something else.
Right.
Okay.
So it sounds like it would be good as couples engage or move into marriage, that they discuss maybe what their favorite meals are, maybe what their favorite foods are. Would you say that would be important for a couple to discuss?
I think it's very important that they discuss their favorite food. And some of the things that you can do as a couple, you may want to go out and try some meals, special occasions. Try some meals and you go to a restaurant. Your other spouse didn't know you didn't like this particular food. You get to the restaurant, oh, I can't eat this. I don't like this food. I'm allergic to blah, blah, blah. So if you know ahead of time, you can make good preparation. You can save time. You can also save money. Best thing for you, the kitchen. It's wide open. It's part of the house. The kitchen is not separated from your house unless you ordered it that way. But using the kitchen as part of the house. Make the kitchen as an enjoyable place, just like you do your living room. You don't have to have all that food that you thought you had to have. But if you plan for it, and I plan for this from your spouse, to have you a good meal that you can enjoy.
Now, what about cultural differences? Say, like, for instance, I'm from the South. And say I marry someone that is from, and it doesn't even have to be a different culture in terms of ethnicity, but say like someone from the North. How would that work? Or what sort of conversations do you think the couple should have there?
I think it brings a great impact. If one person like one thing and one don't like another. Like in my marriage, my husband didn't like, I was always so used to putting the vinegar on the collard green, but my husband was used to putting the hot sauce on the collard green. Hey, to make the marriage work, to make it more enjoyable, make him enjoy him better, hey, I can put the hot sauce on the collard. So I began to put the hot sauce on the collard, and they really taste good. But now, if you want to go out and argue about it, if you want to go to other people and argue about, he put hot sauce on his food instead of you trying it and tasting it and it tastes good to you. The choice is up to you. So since you plan for marriage and you want your marriage to work, you in the home with your spouse, work it out the best system that you have. When you get married, you're not married to nobody else but your spouse. So don't try to please the mother, because it's going to be hard to please the mother when the spouse wants something different. So if he from the north and you from the south, get some of those northern foods that he may like, shrimp or Fritos, whatever it may do to sound northern instead of the spare ribs, the rutabagas and stuff like that. Even if it take two, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like with some intentionality,
Right.
to really love would be demonstrated in what we eat
Right.
by honoring the other person's culture and the things that they grew up eating.
Right. It's very important.
Awesome. So, of course, nutrition is also, a part of exercise. And how often should couples aim to exercise on a weekly basis? And do you recommend that they do it together?
I feel that they can do it together if their schedule's like that. Some people, their schedule, they have children. One may have to work night shift, one may have to work evening, one may work days, so it may be impossible to do it together. But as much as you can to try to get 150 minutes of exercise in each week, which is usually like 3 days a week. And when you got the time, you can do it together. Exercise is so important also, whether you want to do the exercise at the gym, whether you want to just walk on through the house, or whether you just want to stand up and do some running play. As long as you get some exercise in. You plan for marriage, anything is subject to happen, but we're going to work together on this exercise plan. And for long, your schedule may be where we can enjoy each other in the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned about exercising together, but what about cooking together or shopping together? What do you think about doing that as a couple?
As a couple, I think that's so enjoyable. I think they're so lovely. But my spouse, you talking about going shopping together, he may take me to the mall. But women folks, it take them a little longer in the store. And them men folks ain't want to stay that long in the store. I went with a lady and it took her 4 hours to shop for something. I walked down the mall up and down 4 times, come back and they still wasn't ready. So men folks probably don't have the time to do for that. But I think as shopping, I think it's a good thing if they want to do that. I think cooking together, oh man, I just love it. Love it when he is seeing what you got involved, helping you with the getting involved, doing some things in the involvement. It made him feel a part of. And maybe he doesn't know, or maybe she doesn't know that it took that much to get this meal together. By them seeing that it takes so much to get the meal together, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to run this errand for her. I'm going to do this for her so it won't be so hard on her. Because also there are the kids involved. And we got to make a difference. And we got to work together. I can't let you work all day and just come lay on the couch and not help me. But cooking together, I'm ready. It's a plan. Let's do it.
A part of most marriage vows include the statement of agreement in sickness and in health. Could you help our I Plan for Marriage, the podcast community, know how big this statement really is and why nutrition matters in this aspect as well?
Nutrition is very helpful, even from the beginning of your marriage. If you practice good nutrition, nutrient food, putting in your vitamins and minerals in the beginning and continue on with that, it makes a difference. But somewhere in life, sickness may occur. You have promise and sickness and in health. Some people decided that let's go my merry way. I'm not going to put up with that. Well, on the other end, something can happen on the other side. But if you stick with it and begin to help out, it make a difference. I was sick in the month of June, the whole month of June, June the 4th to the end of June. I had dehydration. I didn't know dehydration would do what it did to my body. I was so weak. Had I not had my spouse by my side to help me out, it would have been a different thing. But I needed somebody to prepare my meals. I needed somebody to help me make ends meet through, and this was in sickness and in health. So if you left me during those times, it would have been hard because I'm still weak and I still need help. But I may would have to spend more money hiring somebody to come in and bring the food to me because I need to eat.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah, because you mentioned dehydration. You don't think about the fact that, again, all the different diseases that are associated with nutritional choices. Because I imagine that some diseases can be either managed or even maybe diverse if one changes their way of eating.
Mm.
Have you seen that?
You're right. If you could get somebody to change their way of eating, that's a great step. And you can do it at working together. You can do it. But if you go after it You need to eat this. You need to eat that. Hey, you have lost the person. So if you can work together, I want you to try this particular style of rice. And if you try this particular style of rice, I think it would be more healthy for you than the rice that you're so used to eating. So your rice, you like to put a lot of beans in your rice. You like to put a lot of other items and meat in your rice and stuff. And when the nutrition problem occurs, there's cardiovascular disease, there's diabetes, there's hypertension, because you're eating the rice, the fried food, it runs into problems later.
Sounds like it would be helpful for a couple as they are planning for their marriage, maybe to consult a nutritionist to help guide them to be intentional so that they can make sure that they focus more on the health of their relationship than falling by default to the sickness of the relationship.
Yes, I recommend it highly that you see a dietitian. Just like you see the priest or whoever, it's very important that you seek a dietitian. And the dietitian can be found. They have eatright.org. They have Find a Dietitian. You can find a dietitian that will be helpful to come to your rescue, and she will be glad, or he will be glad to see you come to them and seek out healthy lifestyle. And if you do it early in the beginning of your marriage, you will know what to expect instead of waiting till things have occurred. Then that makes the problem even worse. So I think seeing a dietitian makes a big, big difference. Yes, when I plan for marriage, plan a dietitian in place.
Wow. In addition to getting that caterer for your wedding.
Also, there comes a time, even for marriage, you're planning the caterer for the wedding, whatever. There comes a time that you may need to deviate or go another route as far as you may want to eat some of the stuff that you want to plan for your wedding. Let's don't overdo it now, but let's do it in moderation. So if we are planning for our wedding, it's very important that we plan with nutrition in mind. And that's going to make a big difference. If you think nutrition, hey, the other party may not be thinking nutrition, but if you say it loud enough and meaningful enough and helpful enough and they can see it, then they want to be a part of it. So I suggest highly that you see a dietitian before when you doing the planning for marriage.
Okay, so Millicent, please take a moment and tell the I Plan for Marriage, the podcast community, any additional recommended resources. Because you mentioned a couple, and any recipes or exercises that couples can explore.
Well, some of the eatright.org has so many good recipes. They have it for children, they have it for families, they have it for lactose intolerant, whatever the need is, they got recipes galore. You make us check with your extension agents, they should have recipes that would be helpful for you. Also, you may, your dietitian can give you a group of recipes. So I Plan for Marriage, exercise, recipes, and that's going to be very helpful for you.
Okay. And any additional things you would like to tell our community?
The I Plan for Marriage, I think that's a good, helpful information, I Plan for Marriage. And if everybody can go through I Plan for Marriage, going through different therapies to help them make their marriage better. We're living in a time that people don't care no more. If they're getting into marriage for the right reason. So if they get counseling and help, they may see that, oh, I hadn't thought about this. Do we have to do this? You make you think different and make you do things different. One guy told me, he said in his marriage, he got a book, How to Please His Spouse. How many other guys would be interested in trying to get a book to speed his by? But if I plan for marriage and let him know that I plan for marriage and bring him and his wife into I Plan for Marriage session, it will make a big difference in his nutrition habits and any other habits.
Okay. Thank y'all for joining us. Tune in another time for exciting and interesting topics. We want to make sure that we are supporting marriages and supporting our communities to have healthy relationships. And we do this by becoming literate and gaining understanding. So we have learned today that nutrition is very important for our health and our well-being, so that when we enter into our relationships, whether it is a marital relationship or just being available to work and support our community, it is important that we have the energy to do so. And so having good nutrition helps us do that. So I'd like to thank again Millicent Simmons for joining us on today. Like to thank my co-host Vivian Baldwin, wedding planner extraordinaire, for being here. And also shout out to our producer that you can't see, who is behind the scene, Amy Taylor. God bless.